All right, all right, all right. Amy, we got to get down and dirty. I'm taking off my jacket. Yes.
Woo!
Wow. Time
Happy
to celebrate. Happy Tuesday to you, Amy. So are you proud of this group of 7-day PLANTSTRONG champions or what?
I am so proud of this group. It was the most exciting, fast-paced, idea-packed challenge I have ever seen. I mean, truly, you guys knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, incredible. And so, I think what I'd love to do is first I want to thank each and every one of you for diving in, for rolling up your sleeves, for literally diving in fork first for 7 days of PLANTSTRONG living and eating. And Amy, you and I just go back and forth really quickly on these guys right here. I'm going to add it to the stage. The simple 7 pillars that people follow. I'll start out. You guys were eating like copious amounts of vegetables and leafy greens. These guys are so calorie light, nutrient rich, loaded with water, loaded with fiber, and you guys kicked some major butt with those things.
You also had whole fruit added to your breakfast, sometimes to your salad, sometimes for a snack. I saw people trying new to you fruits. If you tried a star fruit or a dragon fruit or any kind of fruit that you had never had before, or you put fruit on your greens just to try something a little bit different, you completely nailed. Whole fruit is an amazing rainbow of nutrients for you. Plus,
and I think people also learn to like frozen fruit as well.
Absolutely. We saw more people trying mango this week. That was one of the biggest comments when we set out the shopping list.
Yeah.
So many people had never tried mango before, Rip. And I know both you and I love mango.
I can't get enough mango. And in fact, it's funny. I didn't have my first mango until I graduated from University of Texas. So I was about 23. It seems like they're everywhere these days. I think back, 40 years ago when I graduated, I never saw frozen mango chunks in the freezer aisle.
No, I agree. I might have had it in a smoothie here or there back in the day before I ever was PLANTSTRONG, but I didn't start really stocking it in my freezer until I went PLANTSTRONG. And then, of course, when the fresh mangoes come out, when it's mango season and they have those for $1 at Whole Foods sometimes, the champagne ones, I think, are the really fun ones that a lot of people haven't tried. So if you're new to frozen mango, watch your grocery store.
Carrie, who's back in the background and managing the comments, she's throwing up a bunch. And listen, we appreciate you guys throwing and sharing what's happened to you over the course of the last 7 days. All these people say, I've lost 5 pounds, 7 pounds, 8 pounds, 9 pounds. Good on you. We love hearing the good news. And Amy, as you know, losing weight I guess it's just a byproduct of what happens when you eat this way.
Absolutely. It's definitely a side effect of increasing your wellness overall. So think of it as just one of those things that goes along with the wide array of benefits that can really come from having a PLANTSTRONG life.
Yeah. And then number 3 and number 4 that you guys were doing this over the last week is you were eating intact whole grains and 100% whole grain breads and pastas and tortillas. This way you're getting all of the good and none of the bad when it comes to kind of processed and refined grains that have lost sometimes up to 67, 70% of their kind of vitamin and mineral kind of umphage, as we like to say. So way to go. And the funny thing is, Amy, most Americans, they eat one whole grain, maybe 2. They do oats and they do brown rice. But this has been a great opportunity for people to experiment with all the myriad of intact whole grains that are out there.
Well, we saw a lot of buckwheat this week. There was a big article out that one of the main super exciting grains for 2024 is actually buckwheat, which is a gluten-free grain that not a lot of people have tried, but I saw it popping up in a lot of the photos that people were building meals, whether it was breakfast or a dinner bowl, or even just putting some buckwheat in their salad. That was one of the really cool things I really enjoyed seeing this week.
Amy, you looked at a lot more of these comments than I did, but were people doing oat groats at all, or were they focusing more on old-fashioned oats and steel oats?
I think we saw more steel cut oats and old fashioned oats, but also we were seeing some people have quinoa for breakfast, which is also a great grain to have as well. And also, I was looking for it, but you know what I didn't see? A whole lot of millet. People don't know that millet is also another gluten-free grain, if you need a gluten-free grain, that is, but it's one of the whole grains that we love to have. It really makes a light and fluffy kind of a pilaf kind of thing. You can make it sweet or savory like all of the grains by adding fruit or cinnamon, or you can make it savory like Anne's favorite, savory oats.
And then moving on, of course, we love legumes. We say legumes, baby. And, Dan Butner would be very, very happy to hear how much we love beans, because it is so important with, longevity, with satiation. Obviously, it's a wonderful source of protein, fiber. So you really, it's so important to have, I would say, at least, if you can, a cup of some sort of legumes during the day.
Well, and whether they're in a soup, whether you are adding lentils to a taco filling, or you are doing something like hummus, there are so many different ways that you can really incorporate those beans into your day. And, we saw all different colors of lentils. We saw all different types of beans. We had some people this week make beans from scratch, soaking them overnight or putting them in their Instapot for the first time ever. And, boy, there is such an adventure to be had. I know I'm a kind of a geek when it comes to beans, but there are so many types out there, different colors. There's heirloom beans, whether you're getting them from Rancho Gordo or Zursun beans, or you're just getting no salt added canned beans at the grocery store. There's so many different ways to try them. And the same thing goes for lentils. If you have not tried lentils yet, oh boy, you are in for an adventure, because they're great in salads and soups, and my favorite is the taco filling.
Yeah. What I have fallen in love with are butter beans. Do you do butter beans at all? I find they're so, and excuse this term, but they're so substantial and meaty.
Yeah. They really are.
Yeah. And then I love that.
Try making them into a dip. Make butter bean hummus. It'll change your life.
Great. And I hope that this week people have been playing with all the extra flavor that's in abundance out there, whether it's herbs, spices, flavored vinegars. We, in our fridge alone, Amy, we probably have 4 different types of mustards, right? Dijon, spicy brown, yellow mustard, like the stadium mustard, you name it. So we love mustard. And then, of course, ketchup and barbecue sauce, just to name a few.
My husband calls me the condiment queen. Every time I bring home another bottle of something, he's like, oh my gosh, where are we going to put this? We have so many in the refrigerator as it is now, plus my vinegar collection in the cupboard. But here's the way I look at it. Sparks are the variety of life, right? I mean, that is the thing that we want to add to our salads, or even a bowl of soup. I love putting a scoop of hummus, a drizzle of hot sauce, and maybe some fresh herbs on top of a bowl of vegetable soup. Whether you are adding those sparks to a salad or your breakfast bowl, cinnamon, cardamom, oh my gosh, nutmeg. Oh, somebody was grinding fresh nutmeg in the group this week. That was exciting to see. So play with those sparks, really expand your horizon, expand your palate by trying new flavors and new herbs and spices, new to you.
Yeah, well, and I love the comment that Carrie just put up there. Carrie, is there any way you could put it back up there for a second? If Carrie can hear me. There it is. Mark, my taste buds are loving it. I've noticed a big change. And, one of the things that I have found is that the longer that I've done this, I find that the more sophisticated my palate has become and more nuanced. And I actually, when I go out to a restaurant, for example, and I get something that does have, it's laced with oil, I'm just like, it's really difficult to choke it down. And so this is one of the things that we were hoping that people would notice over the course of the 7 days as you are dialing this in. You're dialing back on this, extreme amounts of salt, sugar, and fat. And this will allow your taste buds to really kind of come front and center and appreciate like the sugar that's in a car orange or a bell pepper or just an oatmeal with maybe a banana, as opposed to the adulterated amounts of salt, sugar, and fat that are just teeming in most foods that Americans are eating.
Oh, for sure. When you take that salt away, if you've been using regular canned beans and you switch to no salt added, or the same goes for tomatoes, right? If you do diced tomatoes that have full salt and then you switch to the no salt added, your taste buds are first going to say, hold on, wait, what's going on here? I don't know about this. But give it time, because it's in that little window of time when you sort of kick salt to the curb, kick sugar to the curb, that your taste buds really do a reset. And then you will be amazed at how salty those foods now taste to you. And you didn't notice it before, because we get so desensitized to those flavors on our tongue after they continually amp up and amp up and amp up. And we're just used to that.
Yeah, so true, Amy. And then this week also, we were hoping that you guys weren't drinking copious amounts of your calories. Instead, we were chewing our calories, and we were focusing in on tea, straight black coffee, or of course the beverage of choice, water, good old H2O, right? That truly makes the world go round. Amy, how are people doing with beverages and smoothies and whatnot?
Well, I can tell you, when we get our questions in the Facebook group, one of the things that we notice is that people ask the questions about the things that are their biggest hurdles, right? So we see a lot of questions about, hold on, wait, what? Black coffee? What do you mean I can't put anything in my coffee? And the same thing goes for smoothies. Oh my gosh, what do you mean? What if I chew my smoothie? We hear that a lot. What we talk about this week is sort of really giving your taste buds a reset. We want to disrupt the patterns that we've developed over the years. We want to give your taste buds an opportunity to say, hold on, wait a minute, that tastes different. Because if you're continually adding those things, when you add anything to your coffee, if you're adding oat milk or almond milk, or you're adding a vegan creamer, or, if you're a latte person, if you are having those things, your mouth is accustomed to having that little tiny bit of fat that's in the almond milk, that's in the oat milk, all of those things. It coats your taste buds, and you're really not getting the astringentness of the coffee. And so giving that up means a bunch of different things. One, we want you to try something new. Two, we want to give your taste buds an opportunity to taste that. Once you've had a really good pour over cup of coffee that is black from really well roasted beans, you are going to notice a huge difference, but you'll never know it if you don't give it a shot. And maybe it's time just to examine the habits. Maybe if you're grabbing the smoothie every day, or you're putting things in your coffee, maybe it's just something you've never said, hold on, why am I doing that? Why am I drinking the coffee? Do I need the caffeine? You'd be surprised what happens when you give it up. And it might take you a few days. You might have a headache for a little while. I know, been there, done that. But ultimately, if you give it up, the thing that I noticed more than anything when I did that, I actually slept better than I ever had before. And if you would have asked me while I was having my coffee habit, if I had trouble sleeping, I would have said no. And it wasn't until I literally got it all out of my system that I really, really noticed the difference.
So, Amy, that over the 7 days, we are just filling our plates with as many whole, plant-strong foods as possible. And one of the reasons is because we want to crowd out, right? And really do our best to eliminate the meat, the seafood, the dairy, the eggs, the processed, refined foods that are out there. With your eagle eye on the comments, how do you feel like people did as far as crowding out kind of the contraband that we were asking people to stay away from?
I was so impressed, Rip. Not only impressed with how they were doing individually. Like, here's my dinner. This is what I had. It was an amazing array. And even at breakfast, for those of you who never had greens with your breakfast before that did it this week, I am so proud of you for giving it a shot. But I will also say that people that were doing that were then helping other people say, well, hold on, wait, how did you do that? And what do you mean build a bowl? You guys are the best helpers ever. I have seen so many posts saying, well, this is how I did it. And this is another one that I built. And check out this picture of this one that I made. I really love this one from last week. And oh, you should try this one instead. It's amazing how many of you provided somebody else's brand new favorite bowl that they had never even heard about before, just by sharing something that you did in the past. And that was amazing to see.
Yeah. Well, so Amy, so, the original book, the Engine 2 7-Day Rescue Diet, came out in January of 2017. So I'm just going to count here: 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So literally, we've been throwing these for 7 years.
Yeah.
And, the impetus for me writing the book was working with Whole Food Market's unhealthiest team members, putting them through this kind of gauntlet, if you will, for 7 days, and realizing that, wow, the human body has the capacity to detoxify and heal faster than I think anybody realized, including my father. Yeah. Like when I told him what I was up to and what we were doing, he was like, yeah, like really, literally, like, good luck with that. I think it will take at least 28 days. And, the results were just mind numbing. And so I just want to share the typical results. And, if you guys had the ability to do a before and after blood pressure, total cholesterol, lipid panel, then I'm sure that this will ring true to you. But quickly, I'll just go over these. At the top, you can see the average weight loss typically is 3 pounds, which is fantastic, right? 7 days, 3 pounds. As you've seen in the comments, some people lose a lot more. Some people are a little slower for the weight to come off. Some of you have said you didn't lose weight. Listen, we're playing the long game here, ultimately, but we're playing the short game so you can see what is possible in just 7 days. And now, if you decide to play the long game, like as you're going to see here in a second, the world is your kale, right? So, and then you can see your lowered blood pressure by 10/5. 10 is the systolic, 5 is the diastolic. And that is a really, really impressive lowering of blood pressure in just 7 days. And again, keep it up. Keep eating these very, very clean, whole plant-based foods. Really watch your sodium intake, and your blood pressure should continue to come down to that 120/80 level that we're looking for, or even lower. You can see the total cholesterol drop is roughly 26 milligrams per deciliter. And this is what happens when you're avoiding the saturated fat, the dietary cholesterol, and the animal protein. That is, you just can't get away from it when you're eating animal-based products. And of course, the diet that you all were on for the last 7 days had 0 cholesterol in it, right? There's just no cholesterol in plants. Very little to almost no saturated fat that also jacks up your cholesterol levels. Unless you're doing nuts, seeds, and avocados, those have about 15% of the calories coming from saturated fat. But we tried to do our best to eliminate and minimize those dramatically. You lowered your LDL, your lethal cholesterol, by an average of 24 points, 24 milligrams per deciliter. And that LDL, remember, that's kind of the lethal cholesterol. And our ideal number there is we want to get that to 80 or below. And I'm telling you, so many of you typically you start off in the mid to hundreds and you get down 125, 110. Some of you are down below 100 in just 7 days. So keep going, and you can expect that LDL to keep getting next to that 80 milligrams per deciliter. Triglycerides, the average drop there was 23 points. That's a function of the amount of fat in your blood. And a big culprit there is a lot of too many sugars. So it is it's the white pasta, it's the white breads, it's the white sugar, it's the jams, it's the bagels, it's the soda pops. Alcohol is a big culprit when it comes to raising triglycerides. And so by removing those, your triglycerides will start coming down. And know that your total cholesterol is a function of three different numbers: your LDL plus your HDL plus 1/5 your triglycerides. So they all actually play a role in your total cholesterol. One of the things that I don't have up there, but I do want to mention, Amy, is HDL. And typically what we find is that people's HDL, this is the healthy cholesterol, comes down 10%. And so if you started and your total cholesterol was, I should say your HDL cholesterol was 50, it might come down to 45. And this is nothing to be alarmed at. This is just natural, because as you're cleaning up your internal kitchen, you get to fire some of the internal maids. And now the ones that you do keep actually become bigger, stronger, more efficient mopper-uppers. So it's a good thing, nothing to be alarmed at. And it's actually a good indication that your body is doing exactly what it should. And then lastly, we find that people typically have to titrate down off their meds, or in many cases, shed them completely. And hopefully, if any of you have done this, you've done this in conjunction with your physician, because this food truly is medicine. Anything that you want to say about the average results that we see in 7 days, Amy?
You know, it's also, we had so many people reporting how much better they feel. Right. So it's not just the numbers, but it's people sleeping better. It's people having more energy. It's people feeling better. You know, we did see, like we always do, that day 3 or 4 slump when people are like, holy cow, now the cravings are coming and all of these different things. But overall, we had so many people post about how great they were feeling, and also how you feel after you eat a plant strong meal. And, you know, instead of feeling bogged down and weighed down from the heavy foods that we eat on the standard American diet, people were saying, you know what? I feel great. I really enjoyed what I ate, and I don't feel gross afterwards, which is, you know, pretty awesome.
Yeah. But I really appreciate you mentioning all the intangibles, Amy, because that's something that you really can't measure, as far as sleeping better, increased energy, no more indigestion. What's it called when you acid? Thank you. Acid reflux, right? GERD, all these things. Yeah, it really is. It's remarkable, the things that do happen. And so, I'd love for everybody. And again, talking and trying to look at comments is a challenge. So continue to put in the comment section some of those results that you got, intangibles or tangible results. People would love to, I'm sure, see it. So Amy, let me ask you this, while some of those comments are coming in, you have been helping me facilitate these challenges now going on almost 8 years. And so what do you, when you're in there looking at, all the Facebook posts, what do you typically see as the biggest challenges that people face over the 7 days?
I think greens with breakfast is definitely one of those. Most people don't have greens with breakfast at any other time in their life until they try our challenge. Now, maybe if you've had a Denver omelet here or there back in the day, right? There's, a little bit of green peppers and onions, maybe some spinach or something in there. But ultimately, most people don't have greens with breakfast. So I know that's really challenging for people. And it was really fun to see how many different ways people were working on incorporating greens at breakfast, whether it was putting riced cauliflower in their oatmeal. Some did that successfully. Some people said, no way, man, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
But having salads on the side, or just finding a way to work those greens in. I have never seen such an effort by so many people who really, truly gave it a shot. So, I'm not going to ask why, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put the greens in my bowl and I'm going to have that. That was really super fun. So I really loved seeing that, people having greens with their breakfast. And then the other thing is salad dressing. So many of us love creamy salad dressings, ranch, obviously the number one dressing there. And so what am I going to put on my salad is another big hurdle for people. We actually loaded a whole bunch of recipes into emails and in the Facebook group this week to help people figure out their salad dressings, and then other people sharing their favorite dressings. I know baritone dressing from Jane's cookbook gets a big mention an awful lot of the time. And Amazon dressing, which is one of my favorite dressings, I saw some of that being pushed around in the group in different on bowls and on salads. So it was a lot of fun to see how people were saying, okay, look, this is one of my hurdles, but here are some things I'm going to give a shot and just give it a try to see how that worked for them. So that was really cool as well.
Yeah. And this is why we call it a challenge, right? Because we want you to show up and know that this is the varsity program. And we know for people that are transitioning off the standard American diet, we're asking you to make some big changes. But you know what? You embraced the difficulty, the hardship, whatever hardships there were, the hurdles. And now, the way I look at it is no matter what you decide to do going forward, your eyes will be open to a new way of looking at food and health and your well-being that will always be with you. And know that this will always be like available for you whenever you want it. So we're here. The light will always be on and the door will always be ajar. So Amy, you highlighted some of the comments that came in over the last 7 days. I've got some right here. You've got some. I'd love if you and I would just kind of go back and forth just for a couple minutes and share some of these comments with everybody that's joining us.
For sure. And they're all a little bit different, but they all hit on different things. And I thought that these were some great comments. To give you guys an idea, we had over 9,000 comments in the Facebook group this past week. So we only picked a handful. You guys were prolific in your posting of sharing ideas, sharing your hurdles, and sharing encouragement to other group members. It was really a wonderful thing to see. So this was one of the ones I wanted to start with because, when we talk about doing this, a lot of people say, well, it's going to be too hard, or it's going to be weird ingredients, or I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I want to give this one a read for you. This is a message from Colleen, and she says, we are a nomadic family of 5. For over a decade, we have lived in many different countries and cultures. Currently, we are living high up in a small village in the Italian Alps where meat and cheese reign supreme. For our vegan Thanksgiving, we walked and skied to 3 villages before we found celery. It's an added challenge, but I wanted to share a story. I have been telling our grocer in our village market about sweet potatoes for months and how much I miss them. He presented me with a bag of sweet potatoes on New Year's Day as a gift. He ordered them especially for us and asked only that we share something we make with him so he can taste them for the first time.
What?
I know, right? It took me a few more days to collect these veggies, but I made a sweet potato chickpea smoky sheet pan dinner to share with our grocer. As a sauce, I made hummus with roasted red peppers our neighbor gifted us, and everyone loved it. Food creates connection and belonging even when there is no shared language or palate or culture in common. I wonder what plant-based gifts tomorrow will bring. Ciao from our village to yours.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Well, you know what? We'll have to reach out to Colleen and get her. I'll see if I can get her on the podcast.
That would be amazing because what an adventure that is. Who out there is going to go skiing to get celery? I love that.
Well, and take their family of 5 and be a nomadic family living in the Alps of Italy.
Exactly.
Wow. That's inspirational. Here's a great comment. This is from Tara Smith. She says, my husband said, in parentheses, without my prompting, that he would like to continue eating this way for a while longer. So we will keep going day 8 and onward.
I know it. I love to see that, bringing along family members or even a best friend to try to do this with you sometimes can be a challenge. Not everybody's going to say, yes, let's do it for a week. So Tara, your husband doing this, amazing. And also to say, let's keep going. Oh, well done.
I would love to see in the comment section, Amy and everyone that's listening, who is going to go onward with the, maybe not the challenge, but let's just say with this lifestyle. All right. Amy, do you have one you want to read?
Yep. So Beth said, we enjoyed one of our favorite dinners while binge watching You Are What You Eat. That's the new documentary series on Netflix that says a set of twins, one goes plant-based and the other one doesn't, to see what happens with them. So that was a big topic in the Facebook group this week as well. So this one says, while binge watching You Are What You Eat, we made chili topped with cashew sour cream, jalapenos, onions, cilantro, and the very awesome Plant Strong gluten-free cornbread mix made into waffles. Now, I will tell you that when we saw the cornbread mix being used as waffles pop up in the Facebook group, Lori shared it over in our Microsoft Teams for everybody to see, and we all were like, holy cow, oh my gosh, we have to try this.
I know, I can't believe we didn't think of it.
I know it. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the picture in the Facebook group is of a mug with the chili with a piece of the waffle in there. If you guys haven't tried to do that yet, give it a shot. Let us know how you like it. I can't wait to try it myself.
I'm going to try that, and I'm going to put jalapenos in mine.
Yes, do it. Do it.
Yes, yes. And Amy, if you guys don't know, Amy loves hot peppers. Like the hotter the better, like Ghost. So Donna says, Donna O, even though I've been following the lifestyle for some time now, I finally took the arugula plunge thanks to Rip's recent endorsement of it. Laugh out loud. Guess what? I love it. And so do I. I did it this morning before swim practice.
You have set a trend because we've been seeing that pop up quite a bit. So I love to see people eating handfuls of arugula. That's super cool.
Yeah.
This one is from one of our giveaway winners. Walter said, I am stoked to be a winner. I'm not sure I ever won anything. Big thanks to Rip, right? I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Big thanks to Rip for teaching me how to truly be healthy and how plants have rescued me. 2023, I lost 30 pounds and I look 20 years younger eating whole food, plant-based, no oil. I'm no longer fat and pathetic, but looked ripped with a six-pack abs. I worked out one solid year and stayed 85% true to the diet. Like Ziggy Marley calls it, a live and not diet, since nothing is dead. Thank you, Rip and PlantStrong.
That is, I've never heard that. It's live it, not diet, right?
Exactly.
You got to think about that for a sec to understand it. But yes, indeed. Well, you know what, Walter, I love that and everything he's doing. Let's see here. This is from Gemma. She says, I have to say, this is a good 7-day challenge. I've been plant-based, mostly SOS for 4 years, but I took the challenge. I have lost 3 pounds. I am surprised, but excluding little things like nut butters, tahini, dried fruit, specifically dates, and maple syrup and molasses have made the difference. Thanks, PlantStrong. It is amazing, Amy, isn't it, how, you think that some of these little things like, nut butter here, tahini there, dried fruit, avocado, maybe a handful or 2 or 3 of nuts during the day, drinking your calories, right? Coffee with sugar, it all adds up. And so And so this is why you can almost typically always expect to see these kind of results.
Well, those things are so calorie dense. And I think that we think of them as small things. So we don't really think of them as things that are really going to make that big of a dent. But to give you an example, grapes are 300 calories per pound. Raisins are 1,300 calories per pound. And it's the same food, dehydrated, sugars increase because you're taking all of that water out. And that's the difference. Now, chances are you're probably not going to eat a pound of raisins. I don't know, maybe you are, but probably not. But the difference is just the difference between the fresh and the dried is really astronomical when you look at the numbers.
It is. It really is. Is it your turn or my turn?
My turn.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I want to mention, it's not on your sheet, but we got an email from a woman named Robin, and the subject line simply said, I loved today. And I shared that email, Robin, with the whole team and our Microsoft Teams. But I just love that because so many people go into this apprehensive. Oh, I don't know what this is going to be. What if I don't like it? Oh, it's going to be restrictive. I'm not going to get to eat my favorite foods. To hear somebody say, I loved today, is just pretty incredible because, we don't usually say that about the standard American diet, do we? So it was really cool to read. That was one of my favorite comments that came this week. But also, Mary Pat said that, I cannot believe it's the 6th day. This has been a wonderful and challenging week. I'm so glad I'm doing it. I commit to someone on the phone each day that will also eat whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, and sugar-free. I appreciate all of the support from the crew and you.
Way to go, Mary Pat. This is from Christa Inlay. Day 3 was a breeze, but day 4, good gravy. I love that. Good gravy. I was craving Burger King of all things. I cannot even tell you the last time that I've had Burger King. Laugh out loud. I had a frozen potato and vegetable mix in my freezer that I popped in the oven instead, and had a nice salad alongside with lemon and water instead. Crisis averted.
That was so awesome. Like we talked about before, day 3 and 4 can be really challenging. And that is when those cravings sort of come out of the closet and say, hold on, wait, Burger King. And she's like, what? I haven't eaten Burger King in years. I love how you crisis averted that day. That was awesome, Christa. Thank you for sharing.
Totally. All right, your turn.
So next is Cindy, and Cindy said, never in a million years would I have dreamed I would ever eat collard greens or Swiss chard, but the recipe I tried was great. Just added some pinto beans. You are all such an inspiration. Thank you. Collard greens, and look, if you tried a new to you green, I remember the first time I had collard greens. It was right after I met you, Rip. It was in Kansas City in 2012. I had never had collard greens in my life. I'm from the North. We don't usually have collard greens up there. Not like my husband in the South. But if you tried a new to you green this week, you are a rock star.
Well, Amy, you've got a lot more of these, but I think that's good for now. People get the point. What I'd like to do now is, so when my book came out in 2017, this is when I had a relationship with Whole Food Market stores, and I was touring all over the country. And when I was doing the book signings, it was incredible how many people came up to me and said, I have to share my story with you. And so eventually what I started doing is I just said, do you mind if I film this? And so I would film it with my little iPhone. And so here's just a couple clips of people when I was doing the road show for the 7-day Plant Strong challenge. We'll start with
I feel amazing. It just feels so wonderful when you eat this way.
Going off sugar has been huge for me.
I've lost 120 pounds. So that's my before. 15 months time. My fibromyalgia is gone. My asthma's gone.
And I think I heard you say that you are a grandmother. Is that right?
Yes.
Of how many?
Of 6.
Wow. And you can keep up with them now?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Now, I do want to be clear that the woman that lost 120 pounds, that was over 15 months. That wasn't 7 days, right? That was yeah. So here's another.
I work out a lot, and I find that I have more energy eating clean, plant-based.
Things like stomach pains that we thought were ours were not. It was our diet. Now we don't have those pains anymore.
Better health, more energy. It's just been an amazing journey.
I've been Plant Strong for about 2.5 months. I lost 23 pounds. Waited too long to do this. My mother's been talking about it for a number of years, and I finally got around to it. My wife and I started, and couldn't be happier with it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Plant Strong champions, ultimately, I want every one of you to walk away from this challenge feeling confident, feeling empowered, and feeling in control of your health destiny, which is something that many of us feel like we're not in control of. Our genes control our destiny, when the fact of the matter is, it's what's on your dinner plate, what's on your breakfast bowl, or what's in your breakfast bowl, or what's in your lunch bowl that control your health destiny. And I think you guys are getting a good taste of that and a grasp of it, and you understand it. So, Amy, now that the challenge is over, what is next for everyone?
Well, we do hope you'll keep going. We hope that you learned this week that it is not impossible to do this. It's actually pretty easy. And we saw that comment quite a bit saying, I thought it was going to be harder. And so that was really cool to see. But we hope that you'll continue your adventure into eating this way. It does not have to feel like a restriction when you open up the wide variety of plants that are really available to you. Try different grains and greens, try different vegetables, try different combinations, herbs and spices, really dig into those sparks and really enjoy that process. You know, maybe you're going to explore more recipes, or maybe you're going to start batch cooking for the first time. We hope you're going to keep going. There is so much support to be had. I hope you'll stick around in the Plant Strong community group. It's really wonderful to see how much help is in there. Boy, I tell you what, you post something in there. I loved one of the comments, and I should have mentioned this. Somebody asked about salad dressings, and within an hour, they had 90 responses.
Wow.
90 comments on that post on what to use for a salad dressing. That is the best community support you are ever going to get. So we hope you're going to stick around there, and know that if you have any questions, you can either ask them there, or you can drop us an email at hello@plantstrong.com. We are always available to answer your questions and help keep you on the right path. And in addition to that, all of the different resources that we have. What if somebody is just joining us today and they missed this? Maybe they were on vacation. Maybe they were taking a social media break. Maybe they missed the challenge altogether. You can sign up at any time. You'll get the whole list of emails that we sent to everybody over this past week, and you'll get all of those resources as well. Refer to the email that we sent you that had all of the bonuses and perks in there, because maybe now that you've gotten through this week, maybe now is the opportunity to take advantage of those. So whether you are signing up for the meal planner or joining the Plant Strong coaching program, maybe you're ready to order those Plant Strong broths so that way you can make some of your own soups and recipes, maybe some things that you've always loved but want to convert and make them more plant strong. Now would be a great time to use those. Most of those resources are available to you through the end of the month of January. If you need help with any of that, again, just give us an email at hello@plantstrong.com. We are glad to help you out with whatever that is that you might need.
Wonderful, Amy. And just to piggyback on that, we have 2 retreats this year. Our next one's going to be outside of Asheville, North Carolina, in a quaint little incredible town called Black Mountain. It's 1,200 acres. It's the most kind of lush green forested environment you could imagine. 2 wonderful streams bifurcate down through the property, and we help you soup to nuts with everything with the lifestyle. But really more than that, it's the bonding that happens with you and the 90 other participants that are there. And then we also are offering another one in Sedona, Arizona in October. The 2 are both very, very similar in so many ways, but so different because of the difference in the environment, right? Sedona it's got this fierce beauty and this austerity about it. And then, of course, Black Mountain's very, very lush. So if any of you are thinking about either, a present to yourself or to a loved one, or a honeymoon or a anniversary, we'd love to have you. Amy, I just can't believe that another 7-day challenge it's basically in the in the history books.
It is. And, it was really wonderful for everybody to come out and join us for this. Like I said on our introductory call to the challenge, this is really my favorite time of year. I love seeing people get amped up about vegetables, about beans, about grains, about the new balsamic vinegar that they tried, or maybe a new herb or spice. When you are making yourself first and you are taking care of you, all of these things can be an adventure. It can really be a great way to expand your horizons, meet new friends, and get the support that you need. Whether you have it at home or not, we've got it right here for you in the group. I hope you all felt the warm hug of Plant Strong Living in the Facebook group this week. It's really been a joy to be your host. I want to give a shout out to Ann White, who is one of our group experts who has really been helpful this week. Jeanette Stevens has been super helpful this week in the Facebook group. There are so many cheerleaders ready to cheer you on inside the Facebook group. I just really love the spirit and the joy and the helpfulness that's in there. I hope you'll keep coming and posting and sharing your meals. And there is always another challenge to be had. If you want to keep going, just keep going.
Keep going, and we're here for you. And Amy, I love what you just said about put yourself first.
Yeah.
Right. I think many of us, and I'm going to say mostly women, right, have a tendency to not put themselves first and to put other things in their lives first, whether it's their families, whether it's their work. And so this is my almost plea to you to put yourself first when it comes to your health, and then you'll be much more able to help all those that you love and those other things that are important to you. So don't put yourself on the back burner any longer, right? Put yourself on that front burner, right with that kale.
Exactly. Not on the side. We want you right in the middle of everything, really getting at life, and really, because that's what this is really all about. We really want to live our best life for as long as we possibly can. Your parents are an excellent example of that. You yourself are a great example of that as well. And we really just love having so many people really cheering us on to just get at life and really enjoy what we're doing. I can't think of a better way to celebrate than to really be at the center of our own wellness and really sort of navigating that ship. And boy, we have some amazing guides to help you do that. Whether you're tuning into the podcast, you're dropping off at a retreat, once you start up the hill, either way, whether you're going up the mountain to Black Mountain or you're headed out to Sedona, there is a sense of nervousness and apprehension that disappears the second you get there, because you are going into the great unknown, right? But here's what I can tell you. This adventure for me has meant learning in such a fun environment that it was really exciting to continue learning new things, learning the science behind it, learning how to make that swap out in a recipe, learning how to play pickleball, trying something new, whatever it is that you are working on, whether it's your good sleep habits or your wellness in general, your self-care, you can do all of that even better when you are following a Plant Strong lifestyle. So thank you all for joining us on the challenge this year. It was so exciting to see you all.
You know what, Amy? So, excuse me, everybody. I just got done interviewing a woman. Her name's Dr. Michelle Loy. She is in integrative medicine, and she does this thing called narrative medicine, where she gives people these little exercises that helps them to appreciate different things. And so an exercise that I want to give all of you is, and one of the exercises that she does is she says, write your life story in 6 words, right? Right? Isn't that like, what? That sounds crazy. So you have to really decide, what are those 6 words? So I would tell all of you guys, as a gratitude to yourselves for enduring the last 7 days, putting yourself first, making your health your number one asset. Let's do a similar exercise. We call it, again, narrative medicine. Use 6 words that best sum up your last 7 days. Or we can expand it, 7 words to expand the last 7 days. Do you like that, Amy?
I love that. I absolutely love that. In the coaching program, we talked about picking a word to represent your year, something you want to strive for throughout the course of your year. This fits beautifully with that. I absolutely love this. I can't wait to write mine down.
Yeah. And so in the Facebook group, please, if you feel so inclined, share the 7 words that describe your 7-day Plant Strong challenge. I like it. I love it. Yeah. Amy, again, thank you so much for just being so prominent, so supportive, and so wonderful for everybody over the course of this 7-day challenge. You've been an amazing guide and host for so many people.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be part of so many people's journey. It's really an honor. So thank you all for sharing with me.
Yeah. Okay. Amy and everybody, let's give me, Amy, you and I can do it together, and everybody else, put your fists up to the screen, and let's do a nice virtual Plant Strong fist bump. All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Plant Strong.
Love it. Thanks, Rip.
All right. We'll see you next time.